Hello, how are you? Hey y'all, what's up? Hola, me llamo Jack. And hey bro, what's good? Welcome to an ethno-linguistic look at my personal life. My name is Jack Mobley, and I have three main influences that impact the way I speak. My home dialect, which can be broken into two subcategories of British proper and Texas Southern English, my second language Spanish, and finally, my age as a member of the Z generation. All of these characteristics, which I will go on to define more later, make up my language identity as a white 19-year-old male with European heritage and Southern culture who is also a second language learner of Spanish. This identity determines how I talk, when I talk, and where I talk. Let's take a look at how each of these characteristics influences the particulars of my speech. The same as anyone, the first language I learned was from my home, but my home's language was composed of a mixed dialect. My mother was born in England and had grown up with an English dialect, but my dad grew up all around the South and subsequently speaks in a Southern dialect. Because of this, I say certain words that are weird to my friends. For example, I say jumper instead of sweater. My mixed dialectical home equated to building my own interpretations of similar words as well. I say something is crazy, but people are mental or mad. I use British words like daft, bonny, posh, and hodgepodge, but will adjust them with terms like freakin' in front of them. Using terms like this often marks me with my friends because they are not part of the norms for Southern English, which is the dominant dialect where I live. This dominant dialect of Texas Southern English is a major influence on my ethno-linguistic profile as well. Growing up, I had family that was too Southern. Essentially, there was a specific level of acceptable Southern English in my home. Y'all is okay, but over yonder, for example, is not. This comes from my mom's negative perceptual dialectology of Southern English to be a less educated form of the language. Nevertheless, my Southern twang comes out when I am around other Southerners and when I am angry. Beyond English, Spanish is a huge part of my home city of San Antonio and another key component of my ethno-linguistic makeup. I am a second language learner of Spanish, but am considered fluent. I am not as proficient in Spanish as I am in English, but I can carry conversations in both. I do often transpose Spanish into my native English grammar and syntax patterns. While this fact does sometimes mark me when I am speaking Spanish, there are more factors that affect how I am able to interact with the language. For example, I code switch with my friend Andrea, pictured far left, for a variety of reasons. The main reasons normally include sometimes certain words just don't have the same context in English or Spanish. Sometimes words don't have the same impact or connotation in one language versus another, so we break the norms of the dominant language of a given interaction by using words from another language. For example, the word manly just doesn't work when we want to describe a very specific type of guy that is machismo. Machismo is a particular form of manly, so we will often break our English conversation to use the word machismo. We will even take it a step further and use words like wannabe machismo, which is a compound word derived from both English and Spanish to describe an even more particular type of guy who is neither manly nor machismo, but also almost kind of a mix of the two. I will also code switch in traffic a lot because Spanish, to me, feels more convicting and indicative of my frustration with traffic. For example, I will say, esa congestión es horrible. The word horrible is spelt the exact same as horrible and means the same thing. But in Spanish, it's like taking it to the next level. Horrible is bad, but horrible is terrible. We also code switch when we want to talk about something without our friends or people around us knowing what we're discussing, whether it's a secret, a surprise, or just an inside joke. Speaking in Spanish allows us to discuss taboo topics in front of others without judgment. We also code switch in both languages, especially when speaking Spanish, because we do not know the exact term or word in that language that we're wanting to use, so we use it in the language that we do know. The last major component of my ethno-linguistic makeup is my generation and age. The way I speak English with my friends versus my parents or other adults like a boss is very different. Social media has also influenced everyone in my generation to have a quickly shifting use of slang. Social media blends together multiple ethnic groups and codes into one universal online way of speaking that emerges itself in pop culture and how our youth speaks. A weird blend of African American vernacular English and standard English has emerged within words like ain't, lit, lol, and Gucci, and others, as well as the use of structures like the habitual beat and dropping the R off of the endings of words. Slang also cycles out online very fast and is constantly redefining my relevance with my friends. I have to keep up with all these emerging terms and stop using the old ones in order to be within the norms of the American youth community and allow it to be maintained as an aspect of my identity. Ultimately, my ethno-linguistic profile is composed of standard British English, Southern English, Spanish as a second language, and my generational code. Overall, these are the aspects of my linguistic identity and affect how I speak in various situations unique only to me. I hope that in analyzing my own ethnolinguistic profile, I have prompted you to think more about the influences of your own speech. But until then, thank you for listening to my linguistic background. Have a good day, see you next time, adios, and I'm a skirt.